Hello my friends, and welcome to my gameplay guide for the third era on Othercide. I am Icon, and in this little video I'm going to show you how to handle those new beasties and what's new when you enter the third era. Ideally, if you're just wanting to know what happens to you once you get there, or if you're struggling with certain aspects of the game so far. And if you like this content, check out the rest of my channel. I have plenty of other videos on Othercide and other turn-based strategy and similar games that might be to your liking. So let's get into this. With Act 3, a lot of new enemies show up. I'm running here the ultra cheesy Quadra Soulslinger combo. This mission has 4 people involved, so you can pull off all the stuff I'm telling here with any other class. I'm just a lazy guy who loves the Soulslingers. So first new thing on the third act are the Ravagers. They are a straight up upgrade for the Scavengers, and oh boy, they are so nasty. If these guys move once, they usually move very quickly twice. I haven't found out yet how that comes together. They don't seem to have any particular skills giving them that kind of initiative bonus, but believe me, it's very hard to defend against them, and only believing that you're out of their movement range is wrong. You should double the possible movement range of those guys, because most of the time they just act twice before you can act again, even if you have your daughters on 50 AP and not into burst. If you have your people into burst, it's even worse. So my personal preferred go-to strategy with those monsters is, because of that, to just gun them down as quick as possible. To do this in this particular scenario, I'm going to send one of my Soulslingers down here and start the Shadow Round. So, and stop it here. I'm going to send now down other daughters, so let's check it out. There we go. Gotta leave enough action points to take a shot, but sadly no shots can be taken, so I'm going to set up one portion of intercepting round on her. That'll interrupt any incoming attacks. This is kind of necessary, because these guys, once they start attacking, you're quite happy if you're having somebody in between. So finally I'm able to gun down some of those guys. So that's why I went for all the shadow rounds, and I'm going to go for another intercepting round. So let's see what'll happen now. Going to save Drew here on a 50 AP to have not everybody on burst, because it can be quite nasty if you do so. So these guys are not attacking because they're not ending the turn right in front of you. So that's quite okay here. So new enemies here everywhere. I'm going to talk about them once the moment is right. So one new thing about those Ravagers is as well that they have an ability which allows them to attack if any of one of their buddies attacks. Like Revenge Attack is deal up to 1060 damage to an enemy taking damage. So they activate that, and when another Ravager attacks them, it's similar to the Shadow Bullet of your daughters, and 1k damage is a lot. So personally, I consider the Ravagers some of the most dangerous, additions the Third Age has to offer. All the other units so far didn't feel as dangerous, honestly. So that's the Ravagers. Take them serious. They really rip apart your people, and taking all the HP skills against them was still cheaper than getting attacked by them. So next up comes the Curse Witch. The Curse Witch is the upgrade of the Curse Therapist. The same pattern. Gives you a straight up base attack in the face if you get too close to them, and if they love to take that delayed attack. But now instead of one unit, you get that on a AoE square, so that's just a lot more danger to them. But as you see here, they're still quite squishy. But as you notice as well, the enemies are all getting more and more resilient and dodge a lot more. So I'm going to make use of the Spirit Haste here. Spirit Haste is an insanely powerful spell, allowing you to take several turns on the enemy while they don't. So I really love this spell. So moving forward to that spitter guy, but I'm going to use my my points for more haste. So I like to end my turns like this and spend some of the initiative for spirit haste, because this way I make sure that my people are getting their turns sooner. So Celeste I'm going to leave on 50 AP. So this way I always have somebody available to counter things. So True is now on taking her turn. Up here is a Reaper unit, so I'm going to be very, very careful about that. Reapers are the upgrades to, I think their name was Hunters, I can't remember. They're looking quite similar. They retain the jump skill, and they still have a lot of similar skills. Long story short about them, don't let them attack you. Always counter their attacks. Once they start attacking you right next... Once they are allowed to attack you standing right next to you, things are going to get ugly. So larvas are usually working like this. They take delayed attacks, and honestly not afraid of about delayed attacks in general. So just taking a little bit of a direct attack here. So let's check it out. The Reaper is allowed to move before us, and there's going to be a new spawn of enemies here. So I think I'm just going to use my burst here, take that thing down, and spirit haste True to make sure she's going to act right after the Reaper. So there we go. The Reaper shouldn't be able to attack anybody at this point, but we don't know yet. Alright, so moving my daughters together on that square here, and new enemies are spawning. So overall, the biggest change in the third era is that your enemies are getting more and more resilient, and they're getting more skills available. Like the Curse Witch, we already introduced her. But the patterns of your enemies don't really change across that this process. They just grow more specialized than what they did before. And as you see here, I'm moving forward very, very carefully, just to make sure that I'm not going to end my turn in the vicinity of the Reaper. And I want to take down the Curse Witches before the fight with the Reaper commences. So Instant is out of action points, and they're just drawing up some other skills, because it's always good to have at least one intercepting round up. And because I'm not that arrogant to think that I am able to take care of everything perfectly. So there we go. Shadow Bullet coming in handy, but sadly not doing the job completely. And well, going to enable the intercepting and the shadow round as well, because one thing with the Reapers, they have a very, very high amount of HP, and you certainly want to get that thing down in this turn before it acts again. So let's take a quick look on those skills. Reflex is attacking people ending their turn in melee range, particularly deadly against melee daughters. So delayed AoE and point blank, and that's just a jump with which allows that thing to get close. And there's Crush, instant action, destroying initiative now. So basically, once you allow that thing to get close to you and attack you without countering it, you're pretty donezo. So I'm not activating Shadow Bullet on Celeste. It would be more effective to do so, because she would act on the Shadow Bullets of her sisters too. But I don't want to over-exaggerate my my resource usage here, because she's already pretty low on HP.
But it brings me no pleasure.
So now comes a big bunch of enemies. So Plague Prophet, Infected, and there goes. Nothing I have to worry about too hard. So there goes finally the Plague Prophet. I was waiting for that one. So these guys you already know out of the second act, but they're primarily supporters with a very, very weak ranged attack. So nothing too special about that. So the Plague Prophets are an upgrade to the Plague Butchers. They have the reinforced armor skill, giving them a lot more armor than their predecessors. Apart from that, they just have a lot of attack, and they are moving faster than their predecessors as well. So that's not getting shown properly. So let's move forward. Yeah, you see it here. These guys have a lot more movement available than what we're used to with the Plague Butchers, but it's pretty much it. So I'm going to step forward here, bring True into that stance. I'm not going to activate intercepting rounds because I feel like we're not going to need that. But one Shadow Bullet makes sure that I'm going to be able to take out all of them people here. That thing still is having its armor buffed by the infected there. So
at last, but it brings
taking
me
down
no
the last
pleasure.
few enemies. And Act 3 is pretty much covered up by with that. You're seeing upgraded versions of your past enemies more and more, but at the same time, they are, well, I personally felt like this is a stat race. If you're not having enough levels on your daughters, you're going to have very high problems in beating those guys. If your levels are high enough, you just have to play around the Ravagers correctly. Because honestly, that was a little bit too arrogant for me. Too much talking. You guys probably saw that, right? What I wanted to say was, as long as you play around the Ravagers correctly, you're going to have no big problems with Act 3 in general. The Ravagers are, from my point of view, the most annoying and dangerous thing about Act 3, because they really pack a punch with this reaction ability that gives them 1.1k damage as a reaction there on the table. That's just very, very spooky. So let's let the last Reaper spawn. And there we go. And finish this thing. So that's a quick overview over your average Act 3 combat. It's a lot more zesty compared to Act 1 and 2. So enemies are having a lot more HP, having some more nasty skills, but apart from that, you're not going to face any too big changes to that. So I hope that was entertaining and helpful in some way. Thanks for watching, my friends, and yeah, hope we're going to see each other on another video another time. Until then, have a great time. Bye-bye.